His reaction to the thing that he ended up, like that reaction just says it all. It's like, oh, this wasn't just another patient. Welcome back to episode 8 of Heavenly Delusion. I am reviewing the series. If you haven't watched the other 7 episodes, highly recommend going back and watching that, or just watching the anime yourself and then coming back and watching this video. With that being said, I really genuinely did love episode 8. It was a much different approach than what I had expected it to be. It was more a story of love, which I love stories. I'm maybe a little lover boy in a sense, lover man or whatever it may be, and it's just I enjoy it a lot, because in the last episode I didn't touch on it much because it wasn't much part for me to need to touch on it, but there's this woman that ended up talking about, like, there's this thing behind the curtain and they're trying to figure it out about how, like, this woman was just hooked up to all these different machines, and she's like, why is she hooked up to all these different machines? And it's just like, why don't you just turn off the machines and let her die? And she's like, if I did, she'll become a monster like the ones in the basement. It's just like, she's going to become a man-eater, which that part still, I don't understand that. Like, how does that work? Like, how do they know that that's actually the thing that works? Have you seen that happen beforehand? Like, who's the other monster in the basement right now that you did that had a disease similar to this and turned it into a monster? Is that what the egg was from a couple of episodes ago? Like, when you get this disease, like, it ends up happening? I don't know. I just want these answers, because I guess she does have those marks on her face, so maybe it is one of those things where, like, once the guy draws the drawing in the heavenly place, and all of a sudden, like, somebody else in the other world ends up getting that disease, so then that disease can be taken somewhere else. That's just my speculation. I'm no rocket scientist or author, so yeah, but it's just like, if you ask me if they are human, they are a little different. They are former humans who died of this disease that turns them into this, and it's like the facility was created to prolong her life as a human, and it's just like, just so the progression, you have to cut out parts of the body that is diseased, and it's just like, he didn't want to. Like, you can see, like, the pain and just his body language, him looking down at his hand. It's just like, he didn't want to have to cut off the bodies that were diseased. Like, that was never his plan once it develops, so eventually it'll relapse. She ends up just having all these things, just like, hey, would you be able to kill her or whatever it is? And this was foreshadowing from a couple episodes ago as well too. And it's like, I can do this, and it's like, it's just like, but what does she want? That's the key part, is like, sometimes you can never really know what the other person is. Sometimes you have to do, like, mercy deaths, which is kind of sad. Like, maybe you have a pet or an animal that's just like, it's on its last leg, and it's just like, you don't want to, like, put the dog or cat or animal down, because, like, you love that animal, like, it's been with you for your entire life. But it's like, if they're in this state that she's in right now, like, wouldn't it be worth putting that person out of their misery, like, helping them out? But it's like, what if they are miserable? I don't know. It's hard to say. It's just like, I want to see this guy one last time. It's like, can she be taken outside? Who knows? Not entirely sure. Just like, we just have to go here. And it's just like, if you can't do that, I won't do it either. So it's just like, there's an ultimatum. So it's like, they end up moving it. He ends up walking on the bed and noticing all these things. So place that close to her. It's just like, got it. And as get a longer extension cord, they're doing all this extra work, turning off the machines to be able to get her outside. And this is the part where it's just like, they're moving it, and it's just like, there's a little jerk that hurt, you idiot. And his reaction to the thing that he ended up, like, that reaction just says it all. It's like, oh, this wasn't just another patient. Like, this was never just another patient. This was somebody else. And, like, even her reaction as well too, it's like, oh, okay, like, I can see that. So it's like, sorry, calling me an idiot. And she's like, huh, okay, I get that. This is where I'm like, this is totally a girl, because, like, a dude would not, I'm a dude and I'm reacting like this, but nonetheless, yeah, it's just, I don't like that scene. That's not all that important, because we're mainly focused on this. So it's like, it's kind of noisy. Just leave it alone. Like, that room's a decoy. Watch out for it. And, like, she's just enjoying the sky for the one last time. And it's just like, thank you. He ends up doing the work, going inside. Like, he doesn't want to have to close it. Like, she ends up crying. Like, he ends up not feeling all great about that. It's just like, I'm glad that we did it. And it's just like, might have been easier just to let her turn into a monster. It made her suffer for a very long time. And it's just like, hey, look at this little tablet. And this is the part that, like, drove it home for me. Thank you for letting me die as a human. It's just like, thank you. He just keeps going. Thank you for everything. I love you. And that last line is the thing that just, like, gets him. And it's just like, because they had this love beforehand. Like, the only reason that he was the doctor and he was creating all these different parts for all these other people was because the love of his life, her, liked seeing his inventions. So, like, he ended up showing the inventions and showing her, like, how everything ended up working and happening. And it was just a different aspect. And here's another open loop for you as well too. Like, you go back into the garage and it's like, oh, there's still one of these creatures left. Oh no, so everybody else here is probably going to die eventually. But we don't ever get to see that because, like, why would that matter to the story? I don't know, but it doesn't. But no, I just really enjoyed this aspect of, like, how love, like, you will do anything for love, regardless of what it is, regardless of how you do it. And it's very fun being able to see, like, the extent and the length that people go to be able to show the love that they have for somebody else. Because this scene right here was just like, it makes her happy when I make things. So he would always make things for her. And it's just like, that's why I made all the legs, the parts, the arms. He's just like, I'm not a doctor. Never was. He just was somebody that was able to create things, and then other people came, and then it's a snowball effect. It's just like anything that you want in your life, you can have. It starts with one person, and then another person comes on because that other person talked about it. So, like, you can always share these videos with other people that you think will find this type of content interesting or valuable or intriguing or whatever it may be. So, like, we can reach even more people, and then maybe we can create a movement as well. Maybe we can even start our own little cult. I'm just kidding. We're not going to start a cult. But you can do all these different things, and that's why it's just like she's finally able to know that, like, Robin's alive, and that's great for her. They go through this whole scenario. There's this bird that comes down. It makes this noise. The bird's, like, watching. Birds have so much significant meaning to them as well, too. He's like, I don't want to have to do this, but it's like, it's the thing that I do want to do. He looks at her. He notices what's going on. As soon as he puts it up, obviously you don't do this. Just don't do this. And then the bird flies away. He pulls the trigger. Things end up happening. They end up going down a little path, feel a little sad, upset. It's like he's the total opposite. He feels like he's useless, but it's like he's not useless. He's not. He's been able to save so many people because of all the man-eaters he's been able to take care of. Maybe you felt that as way too, is because, like, you might think that maybe you only bring death, but it's like, that's not the thing that you have to say. Like, you don't have to. Like, you kill all these man-eaters, and now it's like, okay, now people won't be eaten anymore. So it's like, we all are saving somebody's life. You're saving everybody's life every single day and every single moment and every single second. It's just a matter of, like, what life are you wanting to live? And it would have been nice if they would have known this pen was his beforehand, because then they could have asked him other questions around, like, what he knew about that logo, but they didn't end up finding out about that until later. And then, like, you can see as well too, like, the candle gets blown out because another life has been gone. But at the end of the day, it is all their choice. Like, it's nobody else's choices. It's all your choice. That's the only choice that ever has been, and that's the only choice that ever will be. So I just want you to keep that in mind with whatever you have going on. Is you get to decide what you do. You get to decide how you live your life. You get to decide the choices that you do make. And love is the driving factor between everything. And if you can have unconditional love, you'll start to see your life change in more miraculous ways. It's what I've seen. It's what I continue to see. And it's what I know you'll see as well too. So with that being said, I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. And thank you for watching.